Hello everybody, thank you for joining us. My name is David Moss. I'm a co-founder of INmune Bio and currently CFO. And
I'm Josh Schoonover, registered patent attorney and in-house counsel at INmune Bio.
really one of our secret weapons is really his title. But what we thought we would do is we wanted to have this event called Inside INmune Bio, where we talk about everything from biomarkers to people, what they do, the important things of biotech, and have kind of a forum where maybe our shareholders can ask us questions so we can address even complicated situations. So with that, what we thought we would talk about is our first episode or our first little program here is intellectual property. Everybody knows that intellectual property is the backbone of biotech. And at INmune Bio, we're extremely fortunate enough as a small company to have a full-time patent attorney. And Josh, I've known for 20 years now.
Yeah, about that.
Long time. And we're really friends first. But Josh is a really ingenious patent attorney. He thinks about things quite differently. And because of Josh, we've been able to build two really strong patent estates, one in XPro and the other in INmune. And I thought what we'd do today in a really short video is just talk about the patent estate of probably INmune first.
Yeah, sure.
Then we'll do XPro later, and then I want to ask you kind of a little trick question about biologics in general. So, with that being said, Josh, maybe just tell us about what you do with patents and how you build this excellent portfolio that we have.
Yeah, thanks, David. So, essentially, patents, for those who may be unaware, allow companies like INmune Bio to exclude others from essentially practicing inventions. So anytime we develop a new therapeutic or a new treatment indication where that uses or incorporates that therapeutic, we want to have some sort of IP that protects our space, because INmune Bio is going to spend a number of resources in developing these things, and we want to make sure that we can eventually receive some sort of a return on those investments. So if I can start with INmune.
Let's start with INmune, and maybe with INmune, kind of say, just in a real global scale, what does the patent necessarily cover and kind of how broad that is?
Yeah, so INmune, I would say as a program, we actually have multiple patents, and these cover various things. First and foremost, we have a proprietary cell line called INB16 or INB16, which is a cell line deposited with ATCC, and we use cells from that cell line to make the product known as INmune. So sometimes these get confused, and this is a good opportunity to clarify that we have a proprietary cell line, but in addition, we have a novel therapeutic that we call INmune, which is a use of that cell line. In addition, we have patents that cover methods of treatment, for example, methods of treating cancer using an INmune type product or a cell that's derived from INB16. So these are the sort of things that we have in our INmune portfolio. It's a number of patent rights related to compositions and methods of treatment.
So we're well protected. We have an issued patent in INmune, is that correct?
That's correct. So we have several pending. We have one that's issued in many countries globally, including the US and Europe. That's our in vivo priming patent.
Yep.
And this essentially was one of the first intellectual properties that we filed as a company. It covers a method of administering to a patient with cancer the INmune product, and the purpose of that is to activate the patient's own NK cells to
Pretty cool.
Surveil, find, and kill cancer.
Cool stuff. So let's switch to XPro. I like to say, XPro is the product that keeps on giving. We have, I think, over 80 publications on XPro now, which means a lot of patent work for you. It's never ending with XPro, I know that. Every time I walk by Josh's office, he's there working away, and it's usually on another XPro patent because there's some new discovery. But give the audience maybe just a 30-second overview on the XPro patent suite, and maybe a little bit about how it just keeps on growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, certainly. So XPro is one of our D and TNF biologics. The company has licensed from Xencor the D and TNF portfolio, meaning dominant negative TNF. XPro 1595 is the first D and TNF that we've sort of explored and are obviously pursuing clinical trials in Alzheimer's. But in addition to those XPro patents, the company has further developed that drug asset to explore other indications, such as we recently talked about Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, or DMD. So there's a number of various indications out there that can be treated by a DNTNF such as XPro. And there are also other DNTNF composition variants that we protect with various patents. And there may also be combinations, so use of DNTNF plus other things to treat a particular disease or indication.
So just to give context maybe to the viewers, if you took the number of patents that are in XPro versus the number of patents that are in INmune, what would the ratio look like?
I would think
Just
DNTNF is roughly 3 times that of INmune, but INmune is growing as well. So I think we had, well, I don't want to quote a number, I don't remember the actual number, but we have dozens of patents on both of these programs, and I would say about 1/3 of them are INmune.
All right, cool. And then one last thing before we end, I think one of the other cool things is that these are, both INmune and XPro are what are called biologics. And in many jurisdictions, including the United States, but also some overseas jurisdictions, there's some advantages maybe from the biologic perspective. Do you want to just say a little bit about that?
Yes, so, well, first of all, there's 2 things I'd like to mention. The first one really isn't specific to biologics, but it's patent term extension. So in the medical space, the pharmaceutical space in particular, because we're required to go through clinical trials, there's an opportunity to gain about 5 years, day for day, extension of your patents, depending on how long the clinical trials take. So we could potentially extend our patent life up to 5 years. But in addition, which I think you're alluding to, is what's called the reference biologic exclusivity. Most jurisdictions around the world, and certainly the US and Europe, will have some form of a reference biologic exclusivity. That means for an innovative or a reference biologic, one that's kind of first in class, think of it that way, with a unique mechanism of action. Once it's approved, you can apply for and receive an exclusive right through the regulatory authority to sort of own this space.
So does that mean that, like, even if you didn't have a patent, but you had a unique biologic and you were the first to go through, you would get exclusivity even without a patent?
That's right. And these government agencies that do the regulatory for pharmaceuticals, they will give often what's called a marketing exclusivity and a data exclusivity. And this is important because what essentially you're getting is, for example, the FDA, there's going to be a period of years where they will not even accept a application for a biosimilar or a generic. And then after that, there's another period of years where they will not approve one. So collectively, that's the biologics exclusivity period, and here in the US, it's 12 years.
That's fantastic. Well, as you can see, these are the things that Josh thinks about in terms of what he's constantly doing on a daily basis here. This is just part of what he does, by the way, because he does a lot of the contracting work and certainly any of the licensing discussions and business development discussions that we have. He's all involved in that. But one of the things that I learned early on is that you just have to hire and work with the smartest people you can find, and you want to hire people that are much smarter than you, and that's certainly the case with Josh. So
well, I don't know about that much, but thanks, David. I appreciate it.
We're really, really lucky to have Josh, like many of our team members, as part of the team. So thanks for joining us. We'll have another episode, and we'll cover, I don't know, a biomarker or something else internally, but we'll try and make it interesting.
Yeah, and if you have any ideas or suggestions, please feel free to reach out and let us know, and we'll look forward to filming those topics in a future date.
It'll be fun. Thanks
a lot.